1, I'm going to demonstrate how to visualize an elevation data. So I have this script that I made, which basically takes this data set and then use this field and extract any region in the world. So at the moment I have North America, but you can change it if, for example, you want to get a DM data for a country in Europe or Africa or even Asia. So it's good to note that because of the size, and Earth Engine has a very restricted what do you call it, size that you can download the data set. So I put this into grade, and it's also not in its native resolution. I think its native resolution is 30 meters, but this I set it to 200 for if you want to what do you call it, if you want to download the entire North America or even a specific country. So this is something you should note. Otherwise, you can go directly to the USGS website and then you can download it straight from there. So if you download this, or the app help you to just download any country in North America, or you can also download the entire North America. So I did this for Switzerland, and I just want to replicate this in a video form so that people can start also making something similar. It's good to note that there is not a straightforward strategy to make something like this. You always have to be trying, but I have compiled all the try and errors that I made with the different symbology and elevation types, just for you to also jump into it straight away. So I think it's best to just bring this here, copy layer. Yeah, so if you bring this here, it's good to note that the min max, this is not the native min max. I have adjusted it based on the symbology style that I wanted to show. So it is showing as the minimum elevation is 300 meters above sea level and the highest is 3,500. But if you download the raw data, it's very possible that these data sets are not uh, like that. I think in the US there should be minus somewhere, but I'm not quite sure why. You can see that. So these are the lowest elevation. You see that there is even 1 meter above sea level here, but over here is 300. So the idea is not to show the exact graduated symbology into it, but just to display areas of high elevation and then low elevation. So just to let you be aware. So the next thing that we will do is to just play, or first, if you display this in the raw data, it's going to come in I think single band gray, but it's a continuous raster, so you can change it to single band. And once you change it to single band, then you put it into 7 classes and you display the values as done over here. Or if you also want to display it in the original value, that is it. You can also do that. Here we don't necessarily change anything, or if you set it to multiply, it's the same, but I would like to put it into normal. You can also put it into global shading or hue shading. The trick is that you have to experiment a little bit with these ones to give you that kind of 3D effect over here. You can even change it to 10 or 50, and then if you are satisfied with the visual, then you just leave it as it is. And this is also a directional projection. So this, sometimes you can set it a very low so that it chip inside a little bit, or if you want, I think the minimum is 200. Yeah, it's not. this part is supposed to come out. So then I guess setting is to, let's say, 300 or even 350 will be a wise thing to do. And for the altitude, we can also change this also a little bit. With the map that I showed for Switzerland, I think I set it to 61. So yeah, you can still see the highlands and then the lowlands area. So this is it with the calculation. You don't do anything here, but you can, for example, check multi-directional hillshade. Then it just give a little bit of effect here. Otherwise, you can just remove that, and then that is it. You can also display, so you can see that there are even values less than 0, like I said before. So the 300 is not the original, it's just an adjusted pixel value. So we can go ahead and create a map layout. I will say this will be USA, and then I'll just change this to portrait. Yeah, and I will bring the map. Okay. Yeah, I'll bring the map here. So yeah, it's good to note that making this type of maps takes a pretty longer time, and I always hate to do this. But yeah, for the purpose of duplicating or replicating what I have done, maybe we can, it's good to do it. So we will leave the color like this. I will also put this over here. I forgot to explain that you may have to individually change this colors. So for example, with the first one, you may have to go to this expression. If you also need this, you can send an email and then I'll forward this to you, or just screenshot what I'm doing here. And then for the lowest elevation, you can use this one. I use this for Switzerland because they had pretty some rivers in the valley, so using white was the best option. But you can also use this, the next one, you use this HTML directly over here. If you try to adjust this, you are not going to finish anytime soon. So once you have this, maybe we can try to push, no, we can try to push this a little bit, and then we just leave some space here to create the fading effect, and that we can add a shape, also a rectangular shape here. And the trick here is that we will change the background. We will use the teal, this type of color. So I also have this here, so you just have to copy and then paste it here, and then you have the background color. Oh, let's see. Okay, I think that I need to check it first, and then I can adjust it here. Okay, this seems to be working. Yes, so now it works. I had a space there, so that is why I was struggling with this. And then with this part, what you need to do is to change the symbol layer type to gradients. And for gradients, you have two colors. You make sure that the first one is the same as the your background, And then the last one is transparent. Sometimes people will like to also use it a little bit, reduce the transparency, but if you reduce it then it's too sharp, you don't really see the fading away. So I think it's just a good idea to leave it as it is like this, so that you don't see um, the break between the background and the gradient. So that is it. The rest is just adding your scale bar to it. And there is also no preference. Just make sure that you put this at the right place and you don't yeah, just make sure that you organize it a little bit. You need to put lap arrow. Once you have it, you can also just adjust it a little bit here. Now you can leave this here like this. Okay. It has okay, I think I'm gonna leave it like this. Like I said, symbology, you are always never satisfied until you give up. So let's add the symbology. So one trick, if you want to add just the legend, sometimes it's very weird. Here it has the band 1 and then trying to remove it is very complicated. So I always try to do it this way. Once you do it this way, you can configure symbol here, you come here, and then what do you do? Then you change it also to gradient, and then you choose the color run type, and I have saved this in my favorite. How to do that is just probably you know how to save them, but I'll just show it. So you just change it to default, you name it as a DM or your favorite name that you remember, and then you can change it, you can put it into colorful, topography, etc., and then you just click here and it will appear over here. So that is always a quick way. If you want to have control on your legend, then this is just the best way to do it. So I will add some text to it, and then I'll call this lowlands. I will also adjust it a little bit. Maybe make this 20. 20 is too big. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it's 150 instead of 50. I'll try and duplicate it and then put at once. And then maybe we can make this white also so that it blends a little bit with the background color. So you can see that this video is even going into the 20th minute. So I don't really like to make maps, but sometimes it's good to explore the capabilities of QGIS to see what you can make out of it. We can add a title. Just bring the title into the fading a little bit. So this, we can make it United States. I'm just trying not to be politically correct, so I will just leave it as United States. And maybe we make it white. We also increase this a little bit to 45. And then we also duplicate this, and then this we make it as topography. And with this, it's good to balance the scale. So I'll make this 30 maybe. And then maybe you can also, the coordinates. I don't really know. I think I have to also search for it. Coordinate USA. Okay, I have this thing here, so I'll just copy and bring this here. Definitely we need just the lat long, so just make this 10 or 15 also. I do 15 or let's change to 150. Now you see that this white is just entering into where it's completely fades away, so maybe we can make this. If you also make it okay, I think this is fine. Like I said, you are always never satisfied with this. Just try which one works better. So I think I'm going to end it soon, but basically this is just how you can I'll also put this template, this one, in the description so that you can just jump straight away with it. Why do I not like this this font stuff? Maybe a little bit italics will be fine. No. Alright, now it looks like it's becoming more complicated. Okay, I will leave it like this and maybe bring this here and then remove this from behind. You can also center this, I think it was here, you can center this also, and then you bring it a little bit down. Let's try to add the QGIS logo to it. Maybe make it QGIS under here. I think this is also super big. So if you also want to know some basic tips on what makes a map good or what makes a map bad, you can also check one of my videos which I explain 6 principles of map visualization from Betin. So you can check out those videos also to see how you can balance the various skills. But basically this is what you can do. You can also add your name to it, project author. It can be somewhere here. And then you can also add the data source. It's always good to include data source so that people can also find the data. And maybe it's just a good idea to end it here. And then I'll also make a different video on how to include the various grid lines and make it also a little bit more solid. Now this looks like it's hanging, but if you have grid lines, then it makes it hang. Or maybe let me just quickly add that. You leave this as it is, or you can just change it to default. I know that sometimes it can freeze your laptop if you are trying to do this. Let me make it 1000 meters, and this I'll change to 0. You can leave this, doesn't matter what settings. You can show vertical ascending, vertical descending. They're not showing, but they know why. So when you are done, what happened is that you get the write-ups here, which is not a good thing. So it's always good to just bring it to the bottom. But yeah, maybe you can also bring this a little bit up. So like I said, this always takes some time. It's already 25 minutes. But I will leave this here and then make a new video on how to include this grid line. So this is basically how to make such maps by just exploring different symbology types over here, adjusting the hue shade, and then changing the background to make sure that how do you call it? That you have some nice visual effects. Thank you and see you.